guys, welcome back to another episode of Harry Howard Talks. I'm here with legendary acting coach Ivana Chubbuck. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey. She's the founder and director of the Ivana Chubbuck Studio and the author of The Power of the Actor, which was on the LA Times bestselling list, and it is the only book for acting to be on the best-selling list.
Well, textbook.
Textbook.
Yeah, textbook about acting to be on the bestseller list, and I'm very proud of that.
Yes.
Because I tried to, in writing this book, try to make it very human-friendly and make it be about something that's accessible to everyone, to any human being with any kind of issues, culture, pains, insecurities, fears, highly relatable in a primal way. That's why it's been translated in so many languages, because it's relatable to just humanity. Because in the art world, in the world of arts, there is no boundaries, there's no geography. It's a world that is a universal and a world that is infinite. Because art is infinite.
Art is infinite. Mm-hmm. And I love how you say you can't judge the characters, you can't judge art, because there's not a specific way art should be. Art is endless.
Well, art is the kind of thing that it's like we look through the lens of what we've experienced in our life and how we see things, whether it's through writing or pictures or through our acting or whatever our art form is, our dancing, is through the lens of what we need to fix and solve and change in our personal lives. And through the art that we are able to actually explore change, growth, evolvement in a beautiful way, as opposed to self-destructing with the same information that most people take that same information. We as artists, we are able to use it in whatever it is our painting is, our canvas is. And it's a beautiful thing. It is, I feel very lucky, and I feel the obligation of the artist is to present our issues and pain and our drama in a way to explore overcoming and winning with. And to win is a very, very important reality for human beings, especially if things are going bad for you. And for most people, bad things happen. It's called life is happening. But if you have the opportunity to see the same information that makes people feel alone, makes people afraid to make moves in their lives, and take that same information and say, this is going to actually make me more proactive, it's going to fuel my ability to overcome and solve and get the things that I want, then bravo to your experience, but you also pass it along in the acting world to the world that watches you. So it's not just your experience, but the beauty of being an artist in the world of acting and movies and television is that you're connecting to millions and millions of people. I call it empowerment through the arts.
Empowerment through the arts. Mm-hmm. And I love you. You have a quote that once an actor faces their issues, they could use them in a positive way and flourish. And that's what makes an artist so powerful, is that instead of looking at your issues as a bad thing, it's a great thing.
It's embraceable.
Yes.
I always say that you can't change the past, but how you see it, how you utilize it, that's the difference between the mark of a normal person or the mark of someone who's remarkable. And all people want to feel like they have some sense of being extraordinary. And every person has the ability to be extraordinary, but it's up to you to make the choice. Life is about choices. Make the choice that you are going to win with pain as opposed to self-destruct with pain. It's a choice, and it's not an easy choice to make. It's the path of least resistance is to give up, to be defeated, to say, it's over for me. The path of most resistance and the most satisfaction when you are able to get to the other side is the path of like saying, I'm going to win in spite of and because of the things that have happened to me.
Well, what I love about your technique is that it's not only just being truthful, it's about empowerment and winning. Where did you come up with that idea of empowering the actor?
Well, it was more of a personal journey that it came from. I grew up in a reality where my mother is mentally ill, very severely mentally ill, in ways that a child doesn't really understand how the violence finds its way, triggers that were like, I don't know where it would come from. All of a sudden, she would start hitting us or destroying things or just having madness happening around us. And a father who was a workaholic, so he wasn't there to do anything about it. So it's called survival. It's called self-preservation. It's like I can, since I was someone I couldn't talk when I was a kid, I was so shy because I felt like if my own mother couldn't like me, then why should anybody? So I would write funny stories. I would write funny poems, and I'd pass them along to people because I couldn't say hello. It was like, here's something I wrote. So you could connect to that person. And it was always like taking my issues and my pain and made a funny story out of it. So I created something positive out of something that was negative. And that's how the whole kind of notion of, God, if it works for me in my personal life of just being a little kid, and then when I started becoming an actress, it was like it started to work for me as being. I came out here to Hollywood, and I literally after 2 weeks got an acting job. You know, I wasn't the best of acting jobs,
okay, but you got a job.
I got a job. And it was a SAG movie, and it was the whole thing because I was coming in with I'm going to win. I'm going to get what I want because I'm not accepting the hurt and the pain and the things that were said to me by my mother, that I was ugly and stupid and she wished she never had me and that kind of stuff. So to take those kinds of things and say, oh yeah, well you're wrong about that, because look what I've proven. And I keep wanting to prove it, and then I will never stop trying to prove that I was worth being proud of to my dad, and that my mother was wrong when she said all those things to me. And in the most pleasant of ways, it feels good.
Yeah. And instead of regretting the past, you use that past to fuel you. So the more pain you went through, the bigger the path is in your art, the more information you have to use.
Yeah.
And when you first started out as an actress, I've watched your interviews. You said that time went by so slow, but then once you became a teacher, time went by so fast.
Well, I like to think like Einstein said, it's all time is relative.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to take his exact equation because it meant something different than what I am going to be. But to me, in my artistic version of E equals MC squared, is that when time goes by slow to our perception, that means we're bored. That means we're not connected and engaged and invested. When it goes by really fast, then what happens is that I am hyper invested, very engaged, and very inspired to think. And when I'm inspired to think, things go fast, even though the time is exactly the same. Our perception of time is different.
Got it. And with art itself, it's never linear either.
Yes.
That's
art is, to me, I say take chaos and find a linear path. Emotions are chaotic. There's no logic to them. Don't you wish there was logic to emotions? Don't you wish there were times you say, why do I like this girl? There's no reasons on the page in any way, shape, or form. She's not even nice to me. Why do I like her so much? Because they're illogical. Why we're attracted to certain people. And oftentimes the people really, honestly, some of the times, the people that are good on paper just aren't attractive to us as we deal with it, because our emotions are illogical. So we have to take the chaos of emotions, and we have to find a linear path that allows us to tell a story.
Stories.
Tell a story.
Tell a story. A story that involves winning.
Well, that taking it could be a win. The idea of winning is you don't have to win to actually be a winner. The whole concept of Rocky, the first Rocky, is everybody remembers the end of that movie as he won the bout. He didn't, but he wanted to win so badly, and he did everything he could to win, that he was a winner. So it was actually more profound of a connection the audience had to that movie, because he didn't win the belt. And the other movies didn't do as well and weren't as iconic because he did.
Yes.
So the attempt to win really is a truthful way of becoming a winner. And that means that people out there in the real world, those people that aren't part of acting or directing or even the arts, the idea is like you try any way that you can, you work extra hours, you put your passion in your soul, create new things, don't be afraid of risking that this is not going to be something that's going to be acceptable to other people, or other people are going to go, oh, that's stupid, or that's not good enough, or whatever. Just risk all that. All that is a winning attitude. And then you walk with the win, and the energy of a winner is so sexy, so compelling. And you feel the energy of a winner without ever having to talk to that person. You could enter a room, a party of 1,000 people, and that person will be seen. That's how it's done.
Wow. And you've coached, Brad Pitt, Charlize Theron, Halle Berry, list goes on, Beyonce. When you watch, or Jim Carrey, when you watch these people act in a lot of their things, especially Dumb and Dumber, Jim Carrey, he's not playing a caricature of somebody who's trying to be funny. He's coming from that real place of trying to win, and I think that's what you bring out in artists.
Absolutely, and what made it funnier is because he wasn't trying to be funny. He was trying to find his true love with such desperation, such need that behavior ends up being allowed, because the more I want something, more desperately I need it from my heart, the more silly behavior in spite of myself ends up happening. And before I know it, I'm doing all this stuff that's funny. But our funniest stuff we've ever done in our lives, with the time that they're happening, is tragic, and we're upset, and we're crying and freaking out. When we look back on it and we think, oh my God, I can't believe I did all that, or I said that, or all of the above, and it's the funniest stuff. You end up laughing, like kind of hearty laugh, because you're like, and then the reason why other people watch these people and laugh, because of the truthful desperation of someone like a Jim Carrey, is because they go, oh, I've done that. And then you're laughing at yourself, because we invest in what we watch as our own connection, our connection to the human being that we're watching. Yeah. I've done that before. I've had those feelings before. I am that person, so I'm connecting to you. That's a true sense of being a love story.
Yeah, and when I've been in your class, you notice the best scenes, the funniest scenes are the ones where the actors are in the most pain.
Exactly.
like, why are you laughing? What was so funny about that? And we're just all bawling, like laughing. And
you're bawling. You're crying. Oh, it's a weird crowd, right?
That's how it goes. It's real.
It's real, but that's what really makes us laugh. It's like that whole thing that you've seen people in real life where they're crying and then they start to laugh, and it goes from full like weeping to laughing. It's because that it's kind of the same impulses that are happening. It's very like without control. Laughter and crying is not a controllable thing. And that's when actors say, I want to laugh on cue or cry on cue. Just do the work. You'll get to those interesting places,
Well, something that I've always wondered is, why do you think it's so hard for someone to just learn to be themselves when they first start out at this? Why do they always feel the need to play their idea of something?
Well, that's a really interesting question, because people generally don't like themselves. So if I become myself, that means I'm going to become something you're not going to like. Because I don't like myself. Why should I don't like myself? How am I expect other people to like me? So I have to hide behind a character, because me, myself, and all three of us, are are not good enough, pretty enough, handsome enough, smart enough, clever enough, whatever. So I have to hide behind a character that might have all those attributes that I don't have. So it becomes hard, because you think if I really bring myself to the table, people are going to be bored. People are going to say, I don't really want to watch that because that person bores me. But it's actually the opposite, because it takes such courage to really expose who you really are. Again, courage is sexy. Most people deal with life from fear. Fear is the main obstacle for most human beings in gaining anything. Love, career, happiness, sense of self. Fear is the most horrible ingredient in a human being's life that they have to face. So if you look at this and saying, like, I'm willing to show you I really am, and dare to actually expose things that you may think are awful and horrible, it's something that the bravery part of it itself is so compelling, because so few people have it. So few people are brave.
And the actor is powerful because they get to use their fear as a way to win. And I feel the muggle world, or the people who aren't actors, they suppress it. They suppress all the negative issues with their families or whatever.
They say everything's fine, and that becomes like repressed, because it isn't fine, and so becomes, like, I call it emotional cancer, because you're sitting there, it's still festering inside of you, and it's hurting you, and the more you deny it, the more you feel guilty for even having those thoughts when you do allow them to erupt, and it just becomes a circle of self-loathing, and so you need to understand your fear to understand your fearlessness. If you don't understand your fear in a very profound and rich way, you're never going to understand how to, like, really look at your fearlessness. You need both.
Yeah. I've obviously been auditioning a lot, because I'm an actor, and whenever I get rejected, my friend, as a joke, he says, it's not even really a joke, he says, thank God that happened, because that's only going to make it even sweeter once you land the role eventually, or something better will come along. So all these negative things can be more positive than the actual thing that you think is positive. Does that?
Oh, totally. But the other thing on that sort of thing is you also can't be in la la land. You have to say, like, if I keep not getting stuff, or I get close and I'm not getting stuff, you have to look at, why am I not booking? You know, so you have to look at, okay, am I digging deep enough? Am I being proactive? Am I making choices that are about creating interaction? Am I sitting in my own stuff because that is not going to book a job? Am I really connecting to the other person? Am I really need what I really want? Is it really the best choices that I can make that push me to places that I scare myself? I can't believe I even went there. Kind of places. Those are places that can't be. You can't deny them. So those people become a force. So even if you don't get that job, they want you for another job. Or I've seen a lot of my people, they came in for a small part and ended up getting the bigger role. Or they didn't get that part in that movie or TV show at all, but they got something better. And the next thing that these same people couldn't get their performance out of their head. So you got to also look at things that when you don't get them, you got to be informed by it too. What do I need to learn that I didn't do? What's the good stuff I want to keep? What's the bad stuff that I need to change? And so always think of everything that you go through as an opportunity for education. Always, education is so key. I'm an educator, so I that to me is the key. But I think you never can stop learning. And a part of the high-stake reality of going in auditions, learn for why you didn't get it. Go back and figure out, like, maybe I could have made a stronger choice here. Maybe I didn't make enough choices here. But learn from your mistakes so that you can become, the next time you come in and you book that job. Because you can't take a call back to the bank.
You can't. And the brilliant thing about your technique is that it doesn't apply only to actors at all. Even it's called the power of the actor. It's almost like the power of the human being that you're teaching.
Absolutely. The power is within you.
Yes.
It's a choice to either make empowered choices about however you're going to find your way with whatever reality with the person that you want to have love you. Be empowered with your choices. Be empowered by saying, bad things can be my fuel to win with. Good things are information for me to go, oh, that works, so that I want to do more of that and explore more of how I could bring more of that to the table. So everything has an empowerment to it that allows you to succeed in all versions of life, whatever venue your success. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything to do with financial realities or career-based anything. It's just being successful as a human being and happy in the world that we live in.
Yeah. Being a student of yours, one of the biggest things that I've had to learn is just trusting myself and knowing that I am enough. And I feel that that's with everything. We are enough. You don't need to push with anything in your life. You don't need to try too hard. You need to just be.
Well, I think you have to trust that you are enough to make things happen and not denigrate your forward motion. What I'm doing is enough. I don't have to push, or I don't have to beg, I don't have to like, please give me this, whatever it is that you want. That's the being enough. However, work hard. There's a lot of work to being successful in anything. And work ethic and taking risks are the key to success in all things. Work ethic and taking risks is the recipe for success in anything that you might want on this planet and beyond.
Wow.
And beyond.
Even
other galaxies.
And it'll be
another life form.
Another life form. And it'll be the recipe of success after we have to wrap right now.
There is my, I'm an alien. Power of the actor.
Power of the actor. I feel really empowered. Always being your student. I feel like I can play a superhero. That's real.
Well, you are to me.
Oh.
And to me, it's like that we're here, and you created this thing for yourself, and that's I applaud you.
Oh, thank you.
And I applaud the fact that you don't just sit and wait for someone to knock on your doors, and that you are enough, and you give more than most people are afraid to give. So, like, I applaud you. Bravo
for
this.
Yes.
Bravo for your future efforts, because I think that you can be a huge success, and you are my superhero.
Oh, wow. Superheroes, we're like the Avengers. We're the Avengers right here. This is a bulletproof vest, not just a vest.
And this is a cape or a jacket.
Yeah, there you go. It's red.
Or a jacket.
Yeah. It's so tragic that we have to wrap, because all this knowledge is going to empower all of us to win Academy Awards eventually.
Or just win in life.
Win in life.
Yes.
Win in life. Thank you so much for watching Harry Howard Talks. Ivana Chubbuck. Thank you.